Josh,
Yes?
it's a drinking episode.
Woo! Boy!
We're 21 now. We can do this.
Yeah, boy.
Legal adults.
What do you got?
Some bourbon.
Just bourbon?
Just bourbon.
Alright, well, I guess you're more manly than I am. I've got, like, tequila watered down with ice, 7-Up, and grenadine. So...
You know, that sounds pretty tasty.
It's not bad. I think I went too hard on the
It
grenadine,
sounds pretty
though.
tasty. I definitely could use a little water with this, because I'm not used to drinking straight bourbon.
Yeah, don't
But it'll
don't push
do.
yourself. You know.
It'll do just fine.
Alright, Hi, I'm Brogan.
Hi, I'm Josh.
And this is How-to Otaku.
And this is How-to Otaku, the show where we reveal our long-denied romantic attachments to anime after several years of hiding it under layers of angst. What the fuck just happened?
And this is a mini-series on Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, the show where you can't trust anyone, not even the cutest fucking kid on the planet. Like...
Who, Salim? Are we talking about Salim?
Yeah, we're talking about Celine. That's gonna come up.
Salim's a piece of shit.
I thought he was fine.
You can't tell me for a second that you didn't think Salim wasn't a piece of shit.
I mean, he's a bit of a brat, but, like, he's not, like, the worst kid. Like,
My dad is the greatest guy in the whole world.
Well, yeah, but, like, every kid says that about their dad, unless their dad, like, comes home dead-ass drunk and whatever.
Here's a question. I guess we're going to get right into it. No, we'll come back to it. Remind me I had a question about Celine in about 3 minutes. This is going to be kind of a shorter episode today, unless shit pops off in a way that I don't expect it to.
Yeah.
Just because we've only got 4 episodes to cover, sorry.
Yeah. So, first of all, just a reminder about our format change. We're going to be going away from the 5-episode format. We're going to go to 13-ish episodes per podcast on a bi-weekly schedule. So, our next episode will be on February 19th, and we'll cover episodes 39 through 50, which is season 4. And then our final episode will be on March 5th, and it'll cover 51 through 64.
40 through 50.
Huh? 40 through 50? Oh, yeah.
40 through 50.
Oh, yeah, that's
We're
right.
covering 39 in this episode.
That's right. I forgot. And we accidentally overstepped the seasons by an episode. So, you know, whatever. We're just rolling with it.
But yeah. So we've got about 2 episodes left, right?
Yeah.
So we need another show to talk about.
Mm-hmm. So, we're going to be looking for we're looking for like a couple one-season shows that we could just knock out in one episode and have a nice discussion about and then move on to the next thing. So,
Right. So we'll probably do 2, maybe 3 of those before we get into anything bigger.
Yeah.
Just to give us some very nice content and a very good break between large projects.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how big of a project it would be to start on Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. But I guess this is the territory. And under those terms, I know I say something new every week. Fooly Cooley is on the top of my fucking list. And then there's the one about the girl with scissors. What is that one called? Kill la Kill? That show.
Oh,
is
yeah,
fucking
Kill la
rad.
Kill. I watched a few episodes of that, and it was, interesting. Like, we can talk about it when...
You can say horny.
Yeah.
You can say horny.
Yeah, it's, I want to save the conversation until, like, we actually get to the show, because I think we probably will at some point, but, like, I feel it's a little too horny for a show about high schoolers. Like, that's just, like, you know, and I understand that it's, like, it might be, like, a difference in, like, American versus Japanese cultures or whatever, but, like, you know, I'm not entirely comfortable with that.
They seem to have a lot more of a tolerance for, fake people who are underage doing things that might be seen as lewd.
Yeah.
Significantly more than we do.
Yeah, it's a thing that bothers me, you know, whenever I'm watching these sorts of things. And it's not a thing that comes up in Fullmetal Alchemist, which, you know, helps me get into it. One thing it does come up in, though, is Persona 5. Like, I'm always a little bit bothered by, like, especially Ann, like, her depiction is a little weird And it's mostly because it's
And
out
they
of character.
focus on it.
Yeah, and it feels out of character. Like, I would understand if she was like a very flamboyant person who, like, you know, who would do that kind of thing, but it just doesn't feel right when she's wearing her persona costume. So like, it's just weird. But
Well, there's also the whole story arc in Persona 5 where like the artist dude is like a creepy perv for like 4 hours of that game, and then you're just supposed to be like, "Oh, rad, new party member," after you finish that quest line.
yeah, that's fair. It's also a game where you can date your high school teacher. So
Hot. Hot.
and you better believe I did it. So anyway, I think we're gonna do like a Twitter poll once this episode drops, and we're gonna figure out you know, we're gonna let you guys decide what our next show is gonna be.
For sure.
You know,
I'm going to narrow it down to 3 or 4 shows, and I'll post that Twitter poll the day that this episode is live. Depending on what the like max amount of time is for a Twitter poll, I'll probably let it run for 2 or 3 days, if that's possible. If not, then just whatever the max amount of time is, if it is less than 2 or 3 days.
yeah. And I'm gonna I'm gonna propose 4 to you right now and see what you think of them. So, Fooly Cooly,
Yes.
Devilman Crybaby,
Yes.
Erased, and
Erase. I don't know that one.
I've heard very, very, very excellent things about it, and it's a short show, like 12 episodes. And what was the last one you said? Kill la Kill?
Kill la Kill.
Is Kill la Kill 12-ish episodes? I think it's a little longer.
It's fairly short. I'm pretty sure it's 1 season. It may be a little. It may be 24 episodes or something.
Yeah, it's got 24 episodes. So,
God damn, I'm a genius. That was off the dome. I didn't even know. I wasn't even looking. I'm a fucking genius.
but okay, so we're gonna have an episode on March 5th, and then we'll do a 1-season show on that. And then I have a plan for the next week that I don't want to spoil for the audience. But so we should do a 1-season show next. Okay. So it'll be that, and like we'll figure out a 4th one.
Good news. Just checked right now, and Twitter polls can be up to 7 days long.
Oh, wow. So that is pretty good. You know, so head over to our Twitter page, and you will see the poll, and there'll be like 3 or 4
as soon
options.
as you're hearing this episode, the poll will be live as long as you're listening to it. I guess as long as you're listening to it the week of February the 7th or so. Yeah, February the 8th or so. It'll be live. And then by the end of the week, we'll know which show we're going to do, assuming anybody actually interacts with the poll.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
All right. So.
Into the show?
Yep, end of the show. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at JD Thorne.
Into.
Oh. I thought you said end of the show.
Yep, just the housekeeping this week, guys.
That's it.
Update episode.
All right.
And I say guys because I do have the analytics. 90% of you are guys, 9% of you are ladies. So shout out to the ladies.
And 1% are missing. Like
1%. You see this? 1% don't exist. They're not non-binary, not other. It's just it gives us only the statistics for 99% of our listeners. Shout out to that missing 1%. That's what I'm trying to do to the 1% in real life, if you know what I mean. Get rid of it. Anyways.
All right. Do we want to get into the show?
Yes, let's get into the show.
All right. We need to talk about Salim.
We do need to talk about Salim. What the fuck is up with him saying he's Pride? I thought that what's his nuts was Pride.
I don't think Pride has been established yet. Has he? I mean,
Greed. That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, no, this is Pride.
Yep. So that's the big twist of this episode is that the fucking precocious kid who, you know, you might not like, but at least he's not like a complete shitbag
Little
or whatever.
bitch baby.
And he's not only like, you know, like a fucking homunculus, but he's like legitimately like a murderous psychopath already. Like, you know, or at least I think so, because like isn't that him killing the people in the tunnel? at the beginning of these episodes?
I think that's the insinuation. I don't know what the scope of his power is, if he's capable of doing that. Because obviously he's not there, right? But I think he is responsible for the tunnel collapse and whatnot.
Maybe he skips out of fourth grade arithmetic or whatever to go kill people.
He plays hooky so he can fuck up some military goons. Don't tell mom I'm skipping school.
Okay, so here's the question I have. So Salim is a relative of Bradley's in some
blood
way.
relative.
Yeah, some kind of blood relative. But that doesn't still explain why he's a homunculus, unless he's Bradley's illegitimate child or something. I wouldn't disqualify that possibility, but because Bradley wasn't a homunculus when he was born, right? It's not like a bloodline thing. So how does that happen?
I think there's possibly some like Adam and Eve type shit where father took like this. They may get into this later, and I don't remember if they do. I know that I'm doing a real good job portraying myself as the guy who's seen this show when I say something every episode. Like they may talk about this later. I don't remember. But Salim, it may be something where it's like Salim is like the femur bone of Bradley or some shit.
Yeah.
Where like father created pride from wrath. Or it may just be some fucking kid. You know, Wrath and Pride have just been booling around together for a while. And when Wrath got married, he was like, "This is my son." There was like an agreement to call them his adopted son. I don't know.
Okay.
They're weird about it.
All right. So, and he's got like shadowy powers that are, 1, really cool, 2, feel oddly nonsensical despite the show having like a lot of weird magic logic, and like 3, how does his power extend through the tunnel all the way to Briggs?
He's a very strong baby.
Yeah. Okay, so I kind of want to talk about like why it feels nonsensical. I can't put it
Go
into
ahead.
words.
I want to know what you mean.
Because like I feel like the show does a really good job of like explaining the way that the thing works in a way that's like, you know, like heightened reality, but it kind of makes sense. Like the alchemy is like them rearranging atoms or whatever, and the homunculi, like they can transform into stuff, but they can't like, you know, duplicate matter or whatever. But like the shadow thing, right. I don't understand like on a physical level how that works. Like I'm interested to see how they explain it, if they explain it, but I don't understand the mechanics of it now. So it feels a little bit like an outlier in terms of this show.
It's certainly not an alchemy thing. It doesn't seem as much of a jump to me just because of like, you know, the whole thing with gluttony, where he could suck people into like a plane of non-existence.
I mean, I suppose that's fair, but like a plane of non-existence is also like, you know, like a thing that scientists theorize about. It makes more sense to me. They can like make that leap, whereas like the shadow thing, I don't understand how they would logic their way into that, I suppose.
Well, Josh, there's this thing called anime. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but there are these people who write the things that anime are based on. Those things are called manga. And the people that write them are usually called mangaka. And those people are fucking crazy.
I mean, fair enough. I know that there's like one manga writer, I don't remember who it was, but like some writer of a really popular manga like only goes to conventions wearing like a chicken mask. Like a mask that literally looks like a chicken's head. Like,
don't know about him. That sounds about right, though. There's this one guy who I'm convinced is an immortal vampire. His name is Hirohiko Araki. He wrote this one series about a boy from Britain and his adoptive brother who turns into a vampire.
Is this JoJo?
No. Yes.
Got him.
Just suffice it to say, sometimes anime doesn't have to make sense. Sometimes cool thing is cool because it's cool.
Like, it doesn't have to. I could, like, suspend my disbelief a little bit. It just doesn't, like... It feels a little bit out of step with the way that
Yeah,
logic has
it
been
seems a
previously
little
established.
too crazy.
Uh-huh. Anyway,
I get that.
so I guess it's my fault for trusting this child. Like, like
Oh yeah.
the
Oh
way I
yeah.
feel betrayed by
This
this.
kid, this kid was the horror movie kid since the second he was on screen.
Is it even worth talking about like the thematic implications of Salim? I don't know if there's much to like talk about, but like, I guess there is. It kind of like falls back into that like idea of like, I guess I interpret it through like the ideology of fascism or whatever, and it would be like spreading your shitty ideology to your children, and they become like shitty people themselves, and you gotta like get them to stop being shitty.
I I get
Uh
that.
huh.
I don't think that's where they were going with it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think if we're going to talk about any of that stuff, we save it until we've got a little bit more of the character
I suppose.
out of Salim.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a big part of later episodes.
Right.
And on a note of similar, like, revelations about characters or whatever, we could talk about, like, the flashback in episode 36 that, like, you promised me answers about Hohenheim, and this does not give me
Yeah.
answers. Like, it gives me more
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. There's gonna be answers.
There will be,
I promise.
I'm sure, but you promised me answers, and these aren't answers.
I didn't promise you answers soon.
I'm sure if we rewound the tape from last episode, you would say that in these episodes, these things would be answered, but they're not.
No.
No,
I didn't.
I'm fairly certain that's what you said.
This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is a prime example of meta commentary, meta communication. We're communicating about how we communicate. No, the fuck I didn't, Josh.
I know you did.
Somebody clip it. Somebody pull it up. Pull up the stream. I promise you there will be answers within the next 2 episodes of the podcast. How's that sound?
Oh. I mean, you got me there.
But yeah, I say if we're gonna talk about like character themes and plot significance, we wait until the character, gives us a little more to work with. As it stands, Salim is not much of a factor, at least that is capable of us to.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's cool to have like it's cool to think about the fact that somebody's going to have to beat the shit out of a child in an action scene sometime soon. So
I cannot wait to see Alphonse just step on a bitch. Just step on a bitch.
kill the baby. Kill it.
Kill the baby.
So I tried to lead us back into the Hohenheim thing, but then you went back to the Salim thing. So now I'm going to give you the responsibility of segueing.
Okay, we'll get back into the Hohenheim thing then. I'm going to segue from, hey, so you remember Salim's dad? Well, Salim's dad's name is Führer King Bradley. And Führer King Bradley is actually Wrath, and Wrath was created by an entity called Father. And there's some sort of confusion between what Father's relationship with Hohenheim is. And Hohenheim is the dad of the 2 boys Elric. And so we're going to talk about Hohenheim now. How's that?
That's fine. Anyway.
Come on.
It took too long.
You put me in a corner. I had to fucking wriggle my way out of that.
I had already segued into that, and then you, like, literally ripped it from me and said, "No, we're going to talk about why we're not talking about Salim."
So what questions do you have about Hohenheim while I pour myself another stiff one?
Okay, so is it Hohenheim in these flashbacks, or is it Father?
Yes.
Okay, so
Hohenheim.
and that means Hohenheim is also a homunculus because he has all of these like moral quandaries with his own immortality and doesn't want to like
Not explicitly a homunculus.
Okay, so you're saying he's not a homunculus, he's something else, and we just gotta get introduced to that concept.
He could not be a homunculus.
You're just dancing around the thing, and like
There's a possibility that Hohenheim isn't a homunculus and has just been given quote unquote this body to extend his mortal life indefinitely. Now, that's not explicitly a homunculus, Josh, because you'll remember homunculi are made by ripping the soul from a mortal vessel and replacing it or combining it with that of a power embedded into one by a philosopher's stone. And he doesn't say that he was fucked up with a philosopher's stone. He said, given this body. And I think that that's an interesting enough delineation in the verbiage of what he says happened to him that we can't assume that he's a homunculus, is all I'm going to say.
Okay, so... Because now I have nothing to talk about.
Sorry, man.
You're ruining my notes for me.
Okay, hold on. No, let's go back and assume that that Hohenheim is a homunculus.
You can't put the thing back in the thing.
Yeah, we can put the toothpaste back in the tube for a second.
That's not how it works.
It sure does. Let's assume that Hohenheim is a homunculus, because I haven't said anything that explicitly states that he's not. I've just said that it doesn't explicitly state that he is. So we can assume that he is a homunculus.
Okay, so...
For the sake of discussion.
Okay, so he is a homunculus, but not a bad homunculus. He's a neutral homunculus. I would say he's good because we don't really know much about him still, but he's at least neutral, not explicitly evil. Right?
Accurate, yes.
So that's possible. And his wife knew about this the whole time.
Yes.
Okay. And he has issues with his own immortality because that means that he's got to watch his mortal family die, and that's why he leaves.
It's the whole old, like, oh, well, do you really want to be immortal? Because, I mean, imagine how bad it sucks to, like, be immortal and, you know, watch your loved ones die and then have to replace your loved ones with new loved ones and then watch them die. And you're just the same forever. And you continually watch these people that you care about grow old and just fucking decay in front of your eyes.
All right.
It's that moral quandary.
Okay, so even if Hohenheim is, as you imply, not explicitly state, you imply he's not a homunculus. So if that's not the case, that through line is still there, so that's...
Right, regardless of if he is a homunculus or not. He is immortal, and so that is still on the table.
Okay, and that's a weird, interesting thing that I guess we're going to have to figure out more about next season.
Sure are. I'm pretty sure, you cannot hold me to this, but I'm pretty sure the next episode, episode 40, The Dwarf in the Flask, answers some questions.
The dwarf in the flask? What does that even mean?
The dwarf in the flask, you'll
How do you fit a dwarf in a flask?
Don't make me fucking...
Have you seen Lord of the Rings? Have you seen fucking Gimli? Like, he's...
I'm gonna transmute my ass back to motherfucking South Georgia and beat the shit out of you. It's not a dwarf. It's not Gimli. Have you seen a Legolas looking motherfucker running around? It's not Tolkien dwarf.
Well, I just presume it's a metaphor, but like, how do you fit?
Instant transmission my ass back to fucking Bumblefuck Georgia. Go Kaioken on your ass.
Okay, well, while you figure that out, we're going to take an ad break.
Holy shit, he did it to me? What the fuck is this episode?
Woo! Yeah, baby. We'll be back after this message.
Fullmetal Alchemist.
Hey guys, right before we get back to Fullmetal Alchemist, I just want to ask a couple quick things from you. We've just started this show and, as full-time students, don't have a lot of time or money to improve or advertise this show. So we're asking you, if you like this show and want to support us, the best way to do that is to share at How-to Otaku Pod with your friends and family on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Another really important thing you can do is subscribe to us and follow us on any podcast platforms so you don't miss new episodes when they come out. One final thing that people who really want to help us out can do is to become a supporter on our Anchor page. There, you can sign up to give us a monthly contribution as low as $1 or as big as 10, all of which will go to making our show better and helping us reach more listeners. You can sign up for all of that by going to anchor.fm/How-to Otaku and clicking the support button. That's anchor.fm/How-to-Otaku. Thanks, and back to the show.
Full Metal Alchemist.
All right, and we're back.
Welcome back.
Hooray! You know, we wasted a little bit of your time so that we can get a little extra money. By the way, we crossed $1 in our in our fucking ad revenue. So you know,
it takes 6.5 podcast episodes with an average of 15 listens to make $1.
It's fun. We're having a good time though. You know, like it's not about the money for us. It's not. Until we get lots of money, and then it is about the money. So
right. Until I can pay for my college with this, it's not about the money. Right now, it's just about talking about waifus with my good pal Josh. Speaking of waifus, Olivier Armstrong fucked hard in these episodes. She kicked a motherfucker into cement.
Yeah. General Raven, right? Mm-hmm. That's his name? Yeah.
Right.
Like
absolute piece of shit.
So we pick back up where we left off, and he's basically offering her like an opportunity to become a homunculus or whatever. Okay, so first of all, like I don't understand that, because how many homunculi can you make? Because they're all named after the 7 deadly sins, so then you can only make like 7 of them, right? Or do you just like start making up shit after that?
Now, Josh, stick with me here. In JoJo's Part 3...
Can you not make a single motherfucking thing about JoJo's?
You listen to me, you lovely little bitch. In JoJo's Part 3, all of the stands are named after the tarot, like the major arcana of the tarot, right?
Yeah.
And then Araki was like, holy shit, I have to make so many more stands. They can't all be tarot cards because I ran out. Then he starts naming them after the Egyptian gods, right?
Okay.
But that only lasts for like 2 or 3 of them because that's boring. Then it gets into 80s metal references. Jotaro Kujo's stand name is Star Platinum, right?
Yeah.
The last enemy that they fight before Dio is called Vanilla Ice. Yes, after that Vanilla Ice. And his stand is called Cream. Yes, after that Cream. And it's the best name of anyone ever because as a whole, his name is Vanilla Ice Cream. And so basically what I'm saying is once you get more than the number of things that you originally started naming them after, it doesn't fucking matter. You can name them whatever you want.
Vanilla Ice Cream. I'm gonna become the fucking Joker now. Like...
I'm gonna become the Joker. I'm the Joker, baby. It's all because of this damn ass rock.
Okay, so Raven is giving Olivier the opportunity to become an immortal homunculus, and then she's like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And then they walk over to this thing where they're like sealing up the tunnel or whatever to keep bad guys out. And then she just like literally slices him in fucking half with her sword and like drop kicks him into the concrete as it's forming, and he sinks down into it. It's literally the fucking awesomest thing I've ever seen, even in the context of this show where like the fucking part where Lust gets fucking murked. Like, even after that, I still like, oh yeah, it's fucking incredible.
Bitches with swords, man. Sorry. That was misogynist of me. Ladies with swords. A girl with a good sword, you know, I don't even have to say anything.
You're gonna get canceled for using the word bitch, and our show is gonna have to find a new host. And...
Fuck. Oh, fuck, oh, shit, oh, piss, oh, fuck. You're right, I am gonna get canceled for saying bitches about a fake person.
Anyway, is there anything you want to say about this person? Like
About Olivier Armstrong? I think
Yeah.
people know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think they get the gist.
Yeah, she gets demoted though, which sucks ass. Like,
Now, what happens is, from here, Kimberly and the brothers Elric and Winry.
oh yeah, Winry's here.
Yeah, Winry is here.
Winry's here because she got fucking duped into being a pawn. You know, like it happens to kids. You know.
Oh, and Winry confesses her love for Edward. Like, I know she kind of did earlier. Like, have his shoulders been that broad this whole time? But she says it is the sweetest fucking thing. I love this dynamic between the two of them. It's so adorable. She goes, "How the fuck did I fall in love with this idiot?"
Like, I like their dynamic, but I don't know if it's like, I don't know if I believe the chemistry works that way. Like, it doesn't feel romantic to me. That's just my opinion, though.
I get it. I get what you mean, but I don't know if that's just a matter of opinion. But it totally works for me. It's so sweet. It's so fucking cute.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, she did like basically travel half across the country for him, so I mean that's not nothing.
Adorable. So they are sent after Scar and Marco, and they are also propositioned with killing everyone at Northern Base for the payment of a philosophy stone. And of course, they're not going to actually, go through with it.
Yeah.
But they have to play along for right now because, Winry's a hostage, and we can't let anything happen to Winry. So they go and look for Marco, and they go and look for Scar, and find them nearly immediately after they fight Bebop and Rocksteady from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then Bebop and Rocksteady do the Vegeta and join the party.
Wait, they're gonna be like a thing now? I thought they were just kind of like,
They're kind of just hanging around. They're not... I don't think they're here for long, but they're temporary party members.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so I have questions about them. So
About
they
Bebop and Rocksteady? That's
Yeah.
the only names I'm going to know them by.
Okay, so they can shapeshift, which is
Uh-huh.
cool. They want their old bodies back. That's established, but can't they just shapeshift back into themselves whenever they want?
Yeah, but, technically... I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I feel like the problem is more... We've been altered, and we don't even want the ability to shapeshift. We want to just be people.
Yeah, I suppose it's fair. Like, I didn't think about it from that regard, but okay.
Motherfucking Scar gets beat the fuck up,
Uh-huh.
captured, and then everybody realizes that, Kimberly's probably the bigger problem here. So for the time being, we're going to let Scar fake kidnap Winry and just trust him to take her back to the Northern Base.
I mean,
And so they plan this whole elaborate ruse to make it look like Winry got kidnapped by Scar so that the brothers Elric can pretend to work with Kimberly. I don't know why. They could just leave.
I suppose so, but then they're leaving Kimberly and Co alone in Briggs where they can do what fuck whatever they want, So
Yeah.
and plus they're planning on having Olivier on their side, and
Right.
so,
Oh, and while this is going on, what's his name? Josh, name, please. What? Guy, mustache.
Yoki?
Yoki. Yes, Yoki has a flashback. And Yoki's flashback includes a very important scene that gives us a little bit of backstory to a couple characters that we already met. Do you know who these characters are, Josh?
I assume you're referring to the rich people who are in it, or like those.
Yes, the rich people. Do you recognize some genetic features about these rich people?
Mm, I did not.
That they are shredded and blonde and have a curl of hair and have blue eyes and are fucking shredded.
Okay, I get it now.
Yoki busted into the Armstrong family estate.
Oof.
And I just think that's a very fun scene.
Yeah, it is. And like literally like he runs into a room where somebody's playing the piano or whatever, and the lady just like stops playing the piano, looks at him for a second, and then throws the piano at him. Like it's a whole piano. Yeah. Like not like one of those like, like fucking desk looking ones that like looks like it weighs maybe 200 pounds.
Entire baby grand.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous and awesome, and it makes even more sense knowing now that it was
an Armstrong.
Yeah. Yes.
Speaking of Armstrongs, we get another secret Armstrong.
Yeah, I noticed this one, the one that Mustang is talking to. And like,
the one that sold Mustang all the flowers.
Okay, I didn't get that. Why did he buy so much flowers? I didn't understand it. I knew they were talking about like, like getting plans together or whatever, but like,
it was a trade for information. It was really just like, it was basically to keep up the pretenses that, oh yes, I was only talking to this lady on the street about the flowers. Like, if anybody saw him talking to the flower lady,
I guess,
are they going to assume that he's getting military intelligence from the flower lady? Or are they just going to assume that Armstrong had a little bit of a fucking breakdown and just bought 1 billion flowers?
You mean Mustang, not Armstrong?
Mustang, sorry, yeah.
Also, one of the Armstrongs just sells flowers? Like, I mean,
yeah.
Cool, good for them, but, it seems a little
Armstrongs are everywhere.
Okay, and then he offers some flowers to Hawkeye, which like
another couple dynamic that I'm fucking dying about. I love Mustang and Hawkeye.
I mean that one in particular, I believe a little more than Ed and Wynn, but like I think it's like weird to date a co-worker who has like a higher rank than you, because then there's a power dynamic involved. But
it's so weird because I feel like it's so sweet because Hawkeye is in love with Mustang, 100% undeniable. Mustang, I think, is just kind of a flirt, which makes it so sad because Hawkeye, you can tell that they care about each other, but Hawkeye is in love with Mustang. And I don't know if Mustang is in love with Hawkeye,
Mm-hmm. All right, what else do we have to talk about? There's a little moments with Kimberly and Winry early on. Like, there's a little flashback to, like, when he was taking Winry to Briggs, and they're having a conversation about her parents, and it's the one weird scene with Kimberly where he actually shows, like, a little bit of emotion, and so, like, it feels like you can't tell if it's just a front, if he's just being, like, polite, or if he's, like, stoking something, or if he actually has, like, a heart and, like, is actually, like, genuinely trying to connect with this young woman,
Honestly, as cold a fucking bitch as Kimberly is, I would like to think that in this scenario, he's being genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Purely because of the themes of, like, there is no black and white, only gray. Like, they even touch on it a little bit philosophically in these episodes. After Olivier Armstrong, she sets a group to set watch of a secret hatch that leads into some tunnels that are being searched by a search party. The search party is given 24 hours to search these tunnels, else it'll be sealed before their return. But Armstrong cares about the search party. She cares about her soldiers. And so she gives the watch party a broken watch so that they can't track 24 hours. One of the members of the search party goes to thank her about it. And she's just like, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. Whatever. Because, of course she's not going to acknowledge that she did something kind for somebody because it's Olivier Armstrong She's a cold-blooded bitch, and she'll kill you without a second thought if she doesn't think you're of any use to her.
Yeah, but she also takes care of her babies, so it's nice.
But she also takes care of her fucking babies. And so she's sitting on the wall when he comes out to talk to her. And she's just like, I love the winter in the mountains. Everything's just black and white, and you can tell where everything is, and it's just so plain. And it's not, there's no mystery to it. It's just, it shows you what it is. It's just black and white. And then he goes, sir, that's not exactly right. If you look up, you'll see there's blue.
Dude, that should have been our cold open. Like, damn it.
If you look up, you'll see there's a podcast. But yeah, it's just, for me, this is like codified in the ending credits song from the last season, Let It All Out. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but that's what it's called in my head. When that song would fade in on top of just like anything that was happening, when that would fade in on the back end of an episode, I would cry every single time, because it shows that like shit's bleak. Shit is always bleak, and nothing is what it shows you it is. Everything has a hidden meaning. Everything has a hidden agenda. But at the end of the day, shit'll work out. It'll be okay.
Did you just admit to crying to an anime end theme? Like,
Josh, it's not the only one that's ever gotten me, bud.
what a weeb.
Listen here. I'll shit stomp you faster than you can blink, motherfucker.
Weeb alert, weeb alert, weeb alert.
This is bullying. This is bullying.
You want to stop being bullied? End this podcast right now. End it. Do it now.
So this is the end of the podcast, y'all. I've
Okay, do we actually have nothing to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we've run out of things to talk about. So, John, you had one thing that you wanted to talk about that was like kind of with housekeeping, but more of like a pitch for a Patreon.
Okay, so I have an idea. It's not set in stone, but it's an idea. I'm thinking that we might start a Patreon. And, okay, so here's my pitch. Patrons could get access to what I would call a monthly exclusive movie episode.
Josh, is that a meme? Is that an acronym for meme? Josh, did you plan that?
Maybe.
I will say, if we do that, every tier is $1 a month. $1 a month gets you access to everything. You can donate more if you want, but $1 a month gets you into the Patreon, and we don't have anything gated beyond that.
I mean, that's all right. You know, $1. I can get down with that.
I kind of dislike the concept of having a Patreon. I understand why it's necessary in this line of work, but that is why my rule is for anyone who wants the extra content, and it will be extra content. Like, it won't be... There's no paywall for a genuine episode of this podcast that is about a show that we're watching. We might do movies from the series that we're watching, but most anime movies aren't connected to the show in a meaningful way that makes it part of the lore, so it doesn't really matter. If they are, we'll do it free.
Yeah.
It'll be part of the actual series that we do for free. But my rule is if we do a Patreon, $1 a month will get you all of the content that we do on Patreon.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, what would our first movie episode be? Our first meme be? What would the first meme be?
We could do one of the Dragon Ball movies.
Or we could do a drunk rant about the Death Note movie.
God, there's a Death Note movie?
Yeah, the live action one.
The live action? You want me to watch the live action Willem Dafoe ass Netflix movie? Or are you talking about the Japanese live action one?
No, I'm talking about the Willem Dafoe one.
Oh, Christ almighty. You know, I gotta say, I really love the casting decision to get Willem Dafoe to play,
Yeah, it's like the one good thing about that movie.
to play Ryuk. But
I think that some of the lighting and cinematography is cool in that movie too. But
you've seen it before?
yeah, I've seen it.
I've not seen it.
it was like it's the only Death Note thing I've seen. Like I don't know anything.
That's
else about it.
sad.
Yeah, I mean it's a bad movie whether you're like approaching it as a fan or as like is just like a normal movie, but you know. But like Willem Dafoe is good in that movie. He is good.
I know that Death Note is like the edgy anime that like edgy teens watch.
Yeah.
For most of it, it is very good. It gets a little weak towards the end. Or maybe it's towards the middle and then it gets stronger at the end. But there is a lot of very fun shit in Death Note. Just very fun cat and mouse.
Yeah, we should probably get to that show soon, but, you know, it would be fun to do that, you know, that sort of thing. I was also thinking for the Patreon that, so these monthly exclusive movie episodes, memes for short, they might not be exclusive to our Patreon forever. So you might get them like a month or two early, but they'll eventually come to our regular listeners. That's what I think.
I like that idea. I don't like paywalling content, so I wouldn't mind paywalling it for early access and then releasing it to the public at a later date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if we want to, like, we could also do Patreon exclusive live streams through Discord. So, like, if we wanted to, like, do some live streams of, like, anime games or whatever, I don't know, like, if, like, I know those exist, but I don't know if they're, like, multiplayer ones or anything, but...
I mean, there's this one called Jump Force.
Oh, actually, you know what? There is Sword Art Online, isn't there? There's a Sword Art Online game.
Oh, fuck. There's a bunch of Sword Art Online games, and they're all just as good as the show.
I do feel like we should at least cover season 1 of Sword Art Online, because it is, like, it was a popular show when it came out, and, like, you know, if we just cover the first season, like, because I think that all the seasons are about different characters, so...
No, they're not.
No, they're not? Well...
They're all about Kirito.
Oh, well, I heard something different, but...
I think if we do Sword Art Online, we'll eventually also need to do Log Horizons just to, you know, show people that this concept can be done well.
Okay.
But that's a discussion for a later date.
Okay, so should we commit to this now, or should we just, like, leave it to the audience and they can decide if that's something they're interested in?
I think that we don't do it immediately.
Okay.
At the beginning of next season, we will make the announcement as to whether or not we have created a Patreon.
All right.
So at the end of the last episode of this season, we will announce the show that we are going to cover for the next season. And it'll probably be several shows that'll comprise like an intermediate season.
Yeah.
Between larger projects. But at the beginning of the next episode after the end of Fullmetal Alchemist, we will announce whether or not we have a Patreon and what the details of that Patreon are.
We'll have polls in Twitter so that you can leave your feedback and we'll see what you want to do.
Yes.
All right.
Anyways.
Is that all we've got for this episode?
If you like what you've heard, you can follow us on Twitter at How-to Otaku Pod. We're on Facebook at How-to Otaku Pod. We're on Instagram at How-to Otaku Pod. Did I cover it all? howtootakupod@gmail.com. You can email us there. Mm-hmm. You can leave us messages on Anchor.
Anchor.fm/howtootaku.
Yes. You can donate us money on Anchor. You can leave us voicemails.
If we do a Patreon, we'll replace Anchor support with Patreon so that you'll actually get something for your money.
And I think that's all of the places that you can get in contact with the show account. Mm-hmm. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's at Brogan_live. If you like Brogan, you'll love Brogan Live. And I stream sometimes too, infrequently, but I do stream. And they're very fun. You should come hang out sometime. Drop a follow just whenever you hear this, and you'll be notified when I go live. Josh, what are your accounts?
Okay, so I am available at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at JDThornFilm. And if you care about what I think about movies, I review movies sometimes on letterboxd.com. My account there is JDThorn. There we go.
Very nice. Well, we'll see you, Space Cowboys.
See ya.